Assalamu alaikum and welcome to My Legal Counsel. My Legal Counsel is my official submission for software engineering project. The tagline goes as effective assistance of counsel for all. I have made this project under the supervision of Sir Ahsan Shah, and I do not have any other group members as I chose to make this project on my own for maximum outcome and learning. So, the world that we live in today is full of injustices and cruelties. We see injustices everywhere. But one of the big part of these injustices is our failed public defense system, specifically criminal justice system. Our criminal justice system is very biased as it incentivizes the privileged people over the underprivileged. People who have resources technically get away with any crime that they commit. But people who are already marginalized, people who are already underprivileged, never get a legal representation, and all they do is hope for equality of opportunity, hope for their civil rights to be fulfilled, and most of all, hope for a defense and a prosecution that they have right to. So the project that I have created aims to cater to that problem and solves that gap that is between the underprivileged and the privileged. So my application is a web-based application that is going to take legal inputs from its users and is going to provide an effective legal solution, an effective assistance of counsel to these people. It also is going to connect our clients with legal teams and attorneys. So, how does this impact? How does this cater to that problem? In two ways. If a person does not have enough money, they can either choose to have a pro bono case, a pro bono attorney, or they can choose to use our the system that we are making, My Legal Counsel, as their legal assistant, and they can opt to represent themselves in the courts of justice. Or if our user has a budget and wants a lawyer for them, we are going to find out lawyers based on their localities and based on their budgets, and also people who are going to take their case on the pro bono reference, right? Okay. So if we start about the project description, the first thing that our project demands is it to authenticate whether the person who is going to use My Legal Counsel is a user or is part of the administration team. If our user is just a simple user who are there to solve their legal case, what's going to happen? We are going to take some of their information, and then we are going to ask them which kind of crime they want a prosecution against, and then we provide them with the most effective solution with regard to that particular crime. So if we talk about the administration view, what they can do is that they can update three kinds of databases: crimes, legal teams and attorneys, and also our users, right? Okay. If we talk about the project requirements, the first thing is we user interfaces. As I already mentioned, that we are going to have two kinds of user interfaces. First is for victims and users who want legal assistance, and second is for the administration members who are going to update the databases. If we talk about the hardware support, what we need is a computer, a tablet, a mobile phone, and for our web application to be used. And thirdly, if we talk about the software support, we need the kinds of technology that we have used in our project includes HTML, CSS, and PHP and MySQL. So these are all the softwares that we are going to need, and for that matters. And for the communication requirement, we're going to use HTTP and client-based servers for our app to work properly. If we talk about the functional requirements, what actually happens in our app is that we provide legal solutions based on criminal variables. Also, There's also a recommendation of lawyers according to the budget of their users. If they want to opt for a pro bono case, they'll be assigned to that. But if they want to work on a budget, they'll find lawyers based on their locality and based on that budget. We also have an administrator login, which then concedes to having to have the ability of modifying crimes, modifying lawyers, and user databases. The architecture pattern that we have selected is a layered based approach, a layered architecture design. Why did we do so? We did that because of the security of our system. We see, so that our system is not only secure, but also credibility is maintained in a way that is more productive for our specific system that we are using it. If we talk about the advantages of layered architectural system in specific to in our system, we see modularity, we see maintainability, we see scalability and robustness. If we talk about the 4+1 views, we're going to have our use case views, logical view, development view, process view, and physical. The use case view, in the use case view, we talk about the user as our main actor. They are supposed to enter their personal details and then they are going to choose the variables. What are these variables basically? These variables are the crimes that they want legal solutions for. The table is also mentioned in. If we talk about the logical view, so now here's the a disclaimer. While in the first initial steps of my project, I wanted to include machine learning techniques to train the model so that there are more intelligent and more specific, personalized solution based on different variables. Then we came to know that it was impossible because there is practically no data set available because my idea is completely original. So most of my documentation still have the element of machine learning technique as I plan in future to get that data and to expand my project. So if we talk about the logical views, it talks about how we are going to do to for the data processing, we are going to have our data set and then we are going to train our model and how there's going to be testing and the accuracy and how the data set is going to then work in our system. If we talk about the development view, the development view actually has two interfaces and two retrospects to look from. First, if we talk about the user interface, we take personal details from these users and the variables from these users. And while we do that, those informations they influence our databases, user database, lawyer database, and crime database. From those databases, they basically get their results, right? And when we talk about these database, our admin has the privilege to update those databases for future references or for the development phases and all, right? In the process view, it starts with entering your personal details and entering the variables. Then we are going to tokenize the user input and the other variables. And this is all of that part that I wanted to do when I thought about using the machine learning techniques, as I earlier mentioned. But okay, if we cut that short, what actually ends up happening is that we display a list of possible solutions from our databases. We also display lawyers that are already stored in our databases based on the budget and locality of our users. The physical view of our project, if we talk about that, we are using the HTTP server to host our website, web app, right? If we talk about the databases, I already mentioned that we have three main databases that are deployed in our system, right? Okay, the non-functional requirement are performance, safety, security, software quality, and business rules. We also made sure that ethical principles are not violated because the kind of app that we are dealing with does have sensitive information of users where they actually come out and talk about the crimes that are committed against them, and some of the crimes are tabooed. So that is why in the databases, when we are going to store the user information, we're only going to store the parts where there is no personal information as their name and ages, their names and their personal informations. so that they can use our app comfortably without the risk of being ousted or without the being judged against or anything of that matter. They are just dealt with as different users. I will explain the mechanism of that in the second video where I'm going to simulate my project. The technology details of my project include HTML and CSS for the front end, MySQL as our database, and PHP is basically used as a backend technology to connect the MySQL for different. I have a recommendation for future development that once on the collection of data on the data set that are required, I wholesomely plan and also recommend to expand on the system, and I'm going to use machine learning techniques to train that model so that my system is not only giving similar solutions for every person, so that it is not only intelligent but it's also able to give personalized output based on different variables and training models.